Hey, gang. This is Friday Foolish on Wacky Wednesday, just because we can. And I'm going to be adding Candice here in a second. Most of you will notice, well, hey, they didn't do a live stream. How come they didn't do that? Because we're so busy. We're busy women. And like I told Candace, I thought it might be better if we did this Road to Horror Hound Weekend as a pre recorded thing. It would allow us to be more relaxed and we could focus more on the matters at hand. And we like talking to you guys and gals in the chat, but sometimes you just got to do these pre-recorded things. Sometimes it just works out better all the way around. But I'm going to go ahead and add Candace, and then shortly here we're going to start talking about Horror Hound.
Hey,
Candace.
Nina.
And I've got my countdown to Horror Hound Weekend thumbnail, so it's mix and match. Wednesday.
Well, that's okay. I mean, that's what we're doing. We're counting down the days to Horror Hound, aren't we?
And it's coming up pretty quickly. Friday, you'll be here before you know it. Now,
I know. I mean, it seems like it just blink of an eye that it's here already. I just feel like I was just at Horror Hound not long ago.
Yeah, we were all right. We were all at Horror Hound back in March.
Yeah.
And it's already time for another one.
Isn't that crazy?
It's crazy when I think about it.
Yeah.
But in case y'all didn't notice, I've got the Lethal Ladies Incorporated shirt on.
Yes, I like
today.
that.
I will be making Candace one. And actually, the color I found out, I'd forgotten what the color was. And I think I told Candace in a message, this is Candy Heart.
Mm-hmm.
That's what this is listed as on Amazon. And me and Candace are pinup girls. Anybody remembers those old, I guess, like posters? And maybe they may have had them on metal signs in magazines,
calendars and stuff like
that.
Yeah,
calendars. Yeah. And they were sexy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but and no offense to guys that look at the adult magazines, but they were sexy without being vulgar. They might
classy.
Classy. So that is what I used in the AI I took me and Candace's picture from the last Horror Hound where we posed together, and I ran it through this model in AI, and this is what I came up with. So me and Candace will be selling items, and if all goes according to plan.
Crossed.
Yeah, we're keeping our fingers crossed. Next March, we will be selling our wares at Horror Hound Weekend, and I guess it would help if I pull my microphone over here. People probably can't hear me. They'll be like, "Huh? What's she saying?" Okay, so be on the lookout for us to have a table in March at Horror Hound, and I'm really excited about it. I think Candace is excited about it. We'll both have matching shirts by that time.
And we're already getting started working on our stuff, so
yes, we are
getting it ready, aren't we?
We certainly are. So enough about next March's Horror Hound. Let's talk about the one that's coming up this weekend. Now, I will not be there Friday,
Mhm.
but I will be there for several hours on Saturday. My dear husband says, "Can we get there at 12?" I said, "Well, we can when if I figure out that the Robert England photo op is later in the day. If it's in the morning, you're out of luck, dude. You're gonna have to get." So I think he was a little bit relieved that it wasn't till like 3:05 in the afternoon. I heaven help those people that got session B ones because
What
they're
time
so
was it?
I I don't know really. I kind of focused on what Chris told me, and then I went and looked as well. So I didn't really focus on that session B, but I know the one session for Friday is not until 8 something at night. And
Are
I'm
you
like,
kidding?
holy cow, people,
Oh my gosh, it's late, ain't it?
you're gonna be waiting a while, especially if Mr. England wants to, talk to everybody for a little bit before you get your picture.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, I'm glad he does that, but I'm sure that there are going to be some people that, goodness gracious, already just, moving along because I just want to get up there and get my picture taken.
Then whenever they got up to get the picture taken, they'd wanna take time with
Yeah,
you.
they'd want to take their time. That's usually how it works. Um, but Candace is going to be in the photo op with me because, again, my dear husband has zero interest in being in the photo. I dragged him into the Ramey Brothers photo back in March, and he didn't really want to be in that one either. Us, like Steve, we get more bang for our buck if we get two adults in here.
Yeah.
And he said, "All right," he relented, but he says he's not doing it this time. So Candace, bless her heart, she's going to be in the picture with me,
Well, I tell you,
and
I'm just excited to see you get to meet him. I mean,
yeah,
it ain't really
yeah.
about even if I wasn't in the picture, I just would like to see you get to meet him because I still I see, I used to think that you had met him before, but I don't know if that was just something I made up in my head or you were gonna meet him one time and
I
didn't or
I
I can't.
think I came really close to meeting him at Scarefest, the year that it was
Oh,
at
okay.
Scarefest, and the reason I didn't was because I listened to a bunch of people that were griping and complaining about it. I wish I had never listened to them.
Well, we
Yeah,
all do that from time to time, so I
and
guess it's just best to make up your my own mind if you wanna, that's like
exactly.
that's uh-oh, I got somebody at the front door. Let's see who that is. Oh, it's my mom. Chrissy get it.
Okay. I was gonna say if you need to, go away for a second, you're welcome to. Um, so that's my number one thing. Now, yeah, I want to look at the vendors. Yeah, I might get, a couple more autographs or something, but money is tight for everybody. And Candace
Yeah.
can attest to this. Uh, so there may be some people that I really wanted to go up and meet, but I may have to save it for next time and
Yeah.
hope that they'll be at another, horror hound or another horror convention coming up. Um, I did want to mention, one last time, I haven't mentioned this for a while, that I do have, I almost said media passes because that's what Scarefest calls them. But I have press passes for me and Steve. Honestly, folks, it doesn't get you special privileges, but it does get you into the convention for free. Uh,
That's always good.
which, one less thing that you have to worry about paying for. I'm all for it, and I'm going to make the most of these press passes. And Horror Hound has been gracious enough to grant me these. And
Hold on, I don't think Chris got the door.
oh, okay,
So I'll let you talk about that while I go see if they're okay because they're
okay.
still standing out there.
Oh, your poor mom. But anyway, the press passes will allow us to get into the convention for free. And, if I wanted to get interviews, I would have to work around the guest schedule and stuff like that. I can't interfere with things that they got going on at the convention, like Q&As and other panels and photo ops and stuff like that. So the I was thinking about, if I see Robert England just walking around in the hallway, I might see if he would just say a little bit of something to the people that watch my streams or watch the pre-recorded videos. Um, just a hi or something like that. Hi, I'm Robert England or whatever. Like most people will know that watch my videos and streams, probably know who Robert England is, but I don't want to bug the man or bug anybody else too much, because I know they're very, very busy, and they're being pulled in a lot of different directions. So don't expect a lot of in-depth interviews, just because I don't feel comfortable, going up to these people and saying, hey, can you give 20 or 30 minutes of your time? That all the time that they have at these conventions is precious. But I am going to try to film as much as I can around the convention, maybe talk to some of the people that are actively, visiting the convention, and talking to them about what they, who they've seen, or what photo ops have they got, and what they're most excited about, and all of that. So, um, all of that is to come. Me and Steve are going to do a complete highway to hell, um, of our entire experience at Horror Hound Weekend this weekend. And we're going to cram as much into Saturday as we possibly can. I am going to be doing video of us going to Horror Hound, at Horror Hound, and then coming home from Horror Hound. And I'm sure that we'll show off some of the stuff that we've got. I don't know. Steve will probably be limiting his stuff to actually getting stuff from vendors, like movies and stuff.
So sorry about that, Dana.
Oh, that's okay. Um, so I blabbed a lot. So I'm gonna, kind of turn it over to Candice a little bit, and I'll comment on things as I can and stuff. Um, but I guess I'll break the ice, Candice. What are you most looking forward to at this one?
To be honest,
Mhm.
my honest opinion is to see you get to meet Robert England. That's the God's honest truth.
Candice has been waiting for a while now for
Well, you've been so
eagerly.
excited about it for so long that
Oh
I'm
my gosh.
excited to get to see you get to meet him.
Yeah.
Because I've met him, a few times, and I just know how he is, and I just
Mm.
think that you're going to really, really enjoy it. So, but I think I'm just as nervous as you are.
Uh-huh.
I've met him a couple times just because I'm nervous about you meeting him. You know what I mean?
I'm afraid what
So,
I'm gonna do is get up there and just start gushing and rambling about, like, Robert England, I'll
well, that'd be
scare the
okay.
man to death. And this guy played Freddy Krueger.
I say he's probably heard worse than that, Dane. He's probably seen stuff that we probably couldn't even imagine.
I wonder
Uh,
if a girl has ever, like, pressed her boobs up to him and wanted him to sign them or
it's
something.
untailing, probably.
His
I'm sure
poor
that happens.
wife.
I'm sure that happens to a lot of them, though.
Yeah,
Uh,
I've seen video of that kind of stuff.
yeah, oh yeah, especially if you're a rock star or something like that. That's something that happens all the time. More than that happens. Um, but yeah, I'm excited about that. Probably the most is just because you do these conventions for so long. You've seen everybody, but me and Chris is meeting some people that I've never got to meet before. Now I believe he's met. Did he meet Kevin Smith? No, I don't think he's met Kevin Smith. I know he's met Jason Mewes before.
Mhm.
I've not met either one of them, and I love Jay and Silent Bob.
Right.
So I've never met them before, so I get to meet them, and plus I get to meet Jason Lee, which I love. My name's Earl. Like that to me is just like one of my favorite newer type of shows, and I hated that it ended the way it did. I don't know if you've watched My Name Is Earl or
I
not.
I know of the show, but that's just one that I've never watched.
It's really good. I really, really love it. So we're getting to meet. You were doing that trio photo op of Jason Lee. I guess it's a Mallrats. No, is it a Mallrats photo op? I think it's a Mallrats photo op.
I
Pretty
wanna
sure.
say it is, but I could be wrong on that.
But I'm excited about that too because there it's not really bucket list people that I want to meet, but they're kind of high on top of people that I would really like to meet. And I love Jason Mewes. Always liked Jay and Silent Bob, but Jay was always my favorite. So I'm
Right.
kind of excited to get to meet him and Kevin Smith.
Mhm.
But I just feel guilty because my brother's not coming to this one. And he's like a huge, huge Jason Lee fan. He loves My Name's Earl. That's like one of his top favorite shows. And he loves Kevin Smith and Jason Mewes. So, because he loves all those movies even more than I do, because I only like a few of the Kevin Smith movies, like Mallrats.
Mhm.
Not even really a Clerks fan. I hadn't even watched Clerks.
I think Clerks is funny. My cousin Jed introduced me to all that stuff. Like, he's obsessed with
Yeah,
Kevin Smith.
yeah. Well, Chris likes him real good, and my brother does. He likes like Clerks and stuff. But I had never watched Clerks. But Clerks 2, I have. I've watched. Me and my brother used to watch that all the time, and a lot of people say they didn't like Clerks 2, but I love Clerks 2.
Uh,
Um, Now this new Clerks that they did, I didn't like it. My brother bought it, and I just didn't care for it. But Mallrats is the big one. Is
yeah.
the one that I really like. I'm not really versed in Kevin Smith films or anything like that, but I really like the characters, of Jay and Silent Bob. So I'm excited to meet them, but mostly Jason Lee because I love My Name's Earl. I would love to have a My Name's Earl like photo, and I think they may be having one. I'm pretty sure they are, but I'll take what I can get.
I'll tell you the movie that I like Jason Lee in is Almost Famous.
Oh, I love Almost Famous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Clear
just
is it
love that
Clearwater?
movie, period. Yeah.
Is that their name
Mhm.
of the band that he's in?
Yeah,
I
he's
always thought it was cute. I used to have a crush on him
I
back
mean
in
I
the
mean,
years.
he's sexy in that, and so
Yeah.
is, oh, what's his face? Gosh, I'm drawing a blank here.
Is he in the band?
Yeah, I'm totally forgetting his name.
Let me look here, Dana.
If you say his name, I'll remember it.
Let's see. I'll forget
See,
it.
I get old and I forget, forget people's names.
Billy Crudup?
That's him. That's it. I was
Yes.
like, it's Billy something. What
Yeah.
is it?
Yeah. And I liked that boy, which I was, younger at the time when this movie come out. It came out in 2000.
Right.
And I liked the boy who played the main
Played William.
character, that William.
Hmm.
Yeah, his name is Patrick Fugit.
Yeah.
Pretty sure that's how you pronounce his last name. But no, I love that movie. That's a really good movie.
And I
Uh,
love Kate Hudson too.
yeah, I really like her in that. I really do. Penny Lane.
Mhm.
I remember when that movie came out. My grandma, they had a satellite where you could like rent films and stuff like that, and she rented that for me and recorded it on VHS.
Uh-huh.
And I took it home and watched it, and I fell in love with it, and I would
Yeah.
watch it all the time because it was just part of that time era that I just really loved. And I just love the character of Penny, and it was really good movie. I like to watch that. I've not watched that in forever though.
And I have that. I may have showed it on one of the vinyl collecting shows. I can't remember. If I haven't showed it on one of the recent ones we did, if we do another one, I'll have to show it. But I've got this Almost Famous box set of like, is there five? I think there might be five records in it.
Really, I don't think
Yeah,
you showed that one. If you did, I don't remember.
I'll have to do that the next time we do one. I'll have to show it because it's got a bunch of extra stuff on the inside of the box and stuff. Oh my gosh, it cost me $130 something, but to me it was worth it.
Well, I mean, if you're getting 5 records in it, that doesn't seem that bad.
Mhm.
But, I could say, "Hey, Dana, what are you looking most forward to about Horror Hound?" But I think I already know. I think your answer's
Robert
kinda
Englund is the
coincides with
number
mine.
1. But I will say, and I'm not trying to get, Candace to reciprocate this because we talk back and forth to each other every day, and we
Yeah,
tell each other nice things, so I'm not fishing for compliments here, but, like, a secondary thing is I get to see Candace and Chris, and
yeah,
I'm looking
definitely.
forward to that, because, conventions to me, especially anymore, maybe at the beginning of me going to conventions, it was more about meeting people
Yeah,
and stuff like that. And over the years, I try to pick one person. In this case, it's Robert England that I really, really want to meet and or get my picture with. And then the rest of it is just hanging out with friends or
yeah,
like-minded people at these things and
yeah.
checking out the vendors. I mean, it's not all about meeting every single person that you would like to meet because, like I said earlier, money's tight
It is.
with
Even
everybody.
just in everyday life is tight. It's just stuff's going so high that it's hard to do anything anymore. And we've slowly, and you've been somebody who's from way back going to conventions stuff. We've slowly seen the prices just get more and more and more outrageous. I mean, it went to being kind of affordable to you can't afford them anymore.
You almost can't. I mean,
No,
unless you have a
real
trust
estate.
fund somewhere or something like that.
Yeah, yeah,
Real estate, a trust fund, something. Yeah, I feel
yeah.
like you almost have to take out a small loan.
Basically, yeah, basically. I mean, I really would hate to tell you how much we spend going to these things, and
Well,
you know it.
Steve
So,
thinks I'm crazy. He thinks I was crazy for wanting to get the Robert England photo out. But I was like, look, Steve, I know it seems like a lot of money,
yeah,
but if I can spend a few seconds talking with Robert England, if I can give him this gift and get a picture with him, that might make my whole year.
it could make you your whole decade.
Because I know what's going to happen to me because it happened when I met Sam Raimi first
Yes.
time around at the Lexington Comic Con. Is that I went up there, I met him, and Sam Raimi was really, really nice. He said, I like the way you say things. I remember he liked my accent. He
Yeah,
liked that country southern accent. And even though it wasn't a very long time that I talked to him, because I didn't want to take up too much of his time because there was a bunch of people behind me who also wanted to meet him and had been waiting to meet him.
yeah.
But I'll tell you when it hit me, Candace, was when we were in the car going home, and I looked at Steve and I said, I just met Sam Raimi. And he said, yeah, Dana, you did. I was like, he's looking at me like I'm crazy. But I was like, I met one of my heroes. This is a guy I grew up watching his movies. I just met him.
I've had that same type of thing happen. When it hit me like that is kind of the same thing, but a little bit different. It was after a concert, and it
Mhm.
was after I had seen Elton John. And, here I'm, my favorite band's the Beatles. And here I had already seen Paul McCartney, and that was surreal to me, seeing Paul McCartney. But I didn't even have the reaction to Paul McCartney that I did to Elton John. That concert was so good.
Yeah.
And I just love Elton John so much that me and Chris, he was saying he felt the same way. We felt like we were floating down those steps after that concert. It just felt like we was on a high. It was just like you just felt like you could burst or something like that. And I remember us just walking to the car, and I was like, "We just seen Elton John. We just seen Elton John. That was all." He said, "I know." And we got in the car and we was just driving down. I said, "Do you feel like euphoric?" He's like, "Yeah, that was really an awesome concert." I said,
Mm.
"I cannot believe I just seen Elton John." It was like that, kind of like how you were feeling. And because it was just such a wonderful memory and moment, I guess, for me. And that's kind of how you felt whenever you met him. So
Yeah, it
it's
was
it's
something I'll
surreal.
carry. It was surreal, but I will carry it with me forever. And I'm sure that the Robert England experience is going to be one that I carry with me forever
Yeah.
too, because as reprehensible as the Freddy Krueger character is, Robert England, especially since I've been going through this retrospective of his films, Robert England is a very, very versatile actor. He can
Yeah.
play the sweetest guys and he can play the evilest of guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't know where he pulls that from, and I probably don't want to know where he pulls the evil stuff from. Um, but when he talks, I could just hear that man talk forever. I did not want that documentary on him to end.
Yeah.
It was so great, and I'm
Yeah.
talking, of course, about the Hollywood Dreams and Nightmares documentary. If you have not seen that and you like Robert England or you love Robert England, like in my case, you got to watch that. It's really really good. Um,
Well, I tell you, if I remember the first time meeting him, it was one of those quick moments.
mhm.
We went in. It was like 2013 or 14, something like that. We did the photo, and it was really quick. But within those moments, he was very animated. I remember him being very animated that first time I met him. He was doing the Freddy stuff and talking like Freddy to us, and just really like he was in the character. He was plain clothes. He had the glove, but he was very like in the character, and just he made that moment awesome. Even though it was a quick moment, he made that awesome. And then the second time we met him was with Noah for the photo op. And I mean, he just stopped us and was just like talking with us. And there Chris and my brother was with their mouths dropped open because they wasn't
Yeah,
expecting it.
right.
And I was the one having to talk to him because they just kind of looking because they just didn't. They
They
was
were
like,
in
"What's
shock.
happening?" And he was just telling us this awesome story about how he had, because Noah had a Munster shirt on, had Free Gwen on it, and he was talking about, a pilot that he did with Fred Gwynn. He was just talking about how awesome Fred Gwynn was and how much he loved the Munsters and just loved Fred Gwynn. And just to hear him talk about that, I mean, he was just carrying on this conversation. He was taking his time too. He wasn't like rushing or anything like that. He was just like taking his time. He would pause and think about stuff and just was just telling. And it was really just really neat just hearing him say that. And then after Noah won the contest the next day, he took time out of his day to stop Noah, and like he stopped Noah to
Right.
congratulate him and to just tell him how awesome that he was and how proud of him that he was, and just how Donald Pleasance would be so proud of the character that he was playing, that he just did look, he looked amazing, that he just was really seeing a good future for Noah. He said, "Keep it up, keep up this, what you're doing. You keep on doing what you love, and you will make something of yourself." He said, "You already are." And he said, "I'm proud of you, Don." He said, I knew him." He said, "I knew Donald Pleasance," and he said he would be really, really proud of you. I get kind of choked up talking about it because it
But
was just
that
so
is just
awesome.
so sweet because
Yeah,
I think, that was a little snapshot for you
yeah,
guys of
yeah,
what Robert England's
yeah,
personality is like. I have never, ever, ever heard anybody say anything bad about Robert
yeah.
England in regards to how he's treated people.
Yeah. And I tell you, Dana, he kind of got down on Noah's level. He come put his arm, his hand on his shoulder, and was kind of down at him, looking at him, talking to him. And he said, "I bet your parents are proud of you too." And he shook all of her hands, shook Noah's hand. He didn't have to do that. He come out of the elevator. He seen Noah. And he just stopped dead in his tracks and said, "He's like, wow," and just started, going into this big thing. And Noah thought that was, I mean, you could have sent him to the moon, and he wouldn't. He would just been floating in the air because he said, "I can't believe Freddy Krueger stopped and talked to me," because he had talked to him the day before, but it was so different. It was on a different level that time.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited for you to meet him. I've never heard anything bad about him. I mean, that doesn't mean that some people haven't had bad things,
Mhm.
because everybody is human
Right.
and everybody has the tendency have a bad day or to come off as a certain way. And also, different people interpret things differently.
Yeah.
So, I'm not saying that everybody in this world is say, "Oh, I've had a good thing with Robert England," but I've never personally heard anything bad of him. So, to me, he's a genuinely pleasant person to meet.
Mm.
So, again, I'm really excited to see you get to meet him. I'll probably be looking at you the whole time though, like when
I'll
we go.
probably be in a daze forever, like, afterwards, I'll be, like, walking around the convention, and, what I'm hoping is that the T-shirts that me and Candace are gonna have
Mm.
on that clearly say, "I love Robert England" on them. I'm hoping that that gets, not a negative reaction, but I hope it gets a positive reaction from Robert England that, "Hey, these gals must really like me. They got I love Robert England shirts on."
Because I've already played that over my head. I was like, when we go meet him, I'm just gonna stay. I'm gonna stand in the back. I'm letting Dana go because I don't want him to talk to me or not. I want him to focus on Dana because I've already met him. That's what I'm because he's really he talks to the whole. He's really personal to everybody. But I'll be like, pay attention to her.
I'm
Don't
just gonna
don't
go
say hi to
stand
me.
back here.
He start talking to me. Dana take that gift that he's getting knocked me in the head with.
No, I would never do that.
No,
No.
she wouldn't do that, but it's funny to think about though.
Plus, I don't want to hurt Candace. There's a glass candle in there. I don't want to break that. No, I
Oh,
wouldn't do that anyway because Candace is my good friend, and I would never do anything like
well,
that.
you're gonna enjoy it. I know that you will. It's gonna be pleasant, and I'm gonna
So,
go tell everybody how you acted. No, Dana, she
well,
don't get out of sorts, so she'll behave herself, and
I'm not gonna go. No, I'm not gonna scream like that. I
I
would scare
mean,
the man if I did
I've seen her
that.
meet Bruce Campbell, and if she didn't do that to Bruce Campbell, she's not gonna do that to nobody else.
No, I love Bruce Campbell too, and I
Yeah.
love Sam Raimi, and I've remained calm when I met him. And Steve told me one time, this was early on. I think maybe we were still dating or we had just gotten married, and we met Don Coscarelli, the
Mm,
director of Phantasm, and I love that too. That was a
yeah.
good experience meeting Don Coscarelli, and I was talking to him about watching Phantasm for the first time and stuff like that, and my dad watching it with me and all that. And after we walked away, Steve said, "You always have some kind of, story to tell these people." He said, "I don't have anything to tell." I said, "Well, I just start talking and
That's
stuff
Chris,
comes
Dana.
out."
He's the same way, like how you said that you can tell, because Chris will meet somebody and he'll have this big thing that he can converse with them, and usually he's got a really good response from it because he'll think of things that they're like, oh well, nobody's really talked to me about that, or I've not heard about that in a while, or something, and they'll talk. I can't come up with stuff like that. Only time I ever like really got into like Chris was so shocked that he was like floored. He was like, "What just happened?" Because I'm not the type of person to talk to people. Like I've never done that, but I got to meet John Five. From Rob Zombie. I think he's with the Motley Crue now, and I love John Five. I loved him. I'm not a Marilyn Manson fan at all. I've never been a Marilyn Manson fan, but I discovered him when he was in Marilyn Manson, even though I don't listen to Marilyn Manson. Not putting down anybody who does. I just don't. I never liked him. I never listened to him. Well, he did have that song that Eurythmics cover, "Sweet Dreams."
Oh
You
yeah, that
know,
was so creepy though.
it was in the House on the Haunted Hill remake,
Yes.
and I loved that movie. So I really thought that was creepy, and I liked that song. But anyway, that's besides the point. I used to get those Metal Edge magazines, and I
Mhm.
had come upon. I was flipping through it, and I seen Hee Haw. Just like how you're looking at words and you're just flipping through it. Well, for some reason, my eye landed on the word hee haw. in a Middle Edge magazine. And if you're from the South or anywhere around here,
Right.
you probably know what hee haw is. And I was like,
I
what is
grew up
hee haw?
watching that with my parents.
Yeah. And I like turned it back and it had a picture of John 5 sitting there. And I was like, who is this? And I started reading about it. And everything that he was saying, like, coincided with what I liked and stuff like that. Like, he was a huge Monkees fan, grew up on hee haw, loved bluegrass and all that stuff, and just was talking about all this stuff. I was like, this is the coolest thing ever. I was like, who is this guy? Because I knew him. I knew by looking at him that he was in Marilyn Manson, but I
Mhm.
come to find out that he liked so much stuff that I did. So when got to meet him, it was like a big deal, you know. And I just walked up to him before Chris could even. I kind of pushed him out of the way, and I just like got up to like right up to him and just started just like talking to him, and we just got into this big deep conversation. And he's like, wow, he's like, yeah, we were just kind of bonding, you know. And when we left, Chris was like, what just happened? He's like, I've never seen you do that before. I said that was so easy talking to him. Like he was like the coolest guy ever.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if you like him or not. Even if you don't, like he's like the coolest guy to talk to, like ever in the whole
Yeah.
universe. I've never experienced that before or afterwards. So uh, that's the only time that I can say that I've talked, you know, just easily with a celebrity.
Well,
Now I've had some really nice ones though.
I did not talk at length with William Catt, but it was a very nice experience back in
Yeah.
March when I
Now
met
he's
him.
nice.
And
William Cat.
he called me doll, and I said, "Mr. Cat," I said, I've always liked you, but I like you even more now because you called me doll." And we talked about Robert England
Oh,
because
really? Yeah, I remember you telling me that. Yeah.
he has a history with Robert England. They were on stage plays at the same time, and also they were in Big Wednesday together.
Yeah, he told you that he really surfed and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, yeah, and he surfed. Robert England was a surfer.
Yeah, that's neat, you know.
Yeah, I think
Really
even
cool.
Gary Busey was a surfer.
Hmm.
Back in the day. So
I'll tell you somebody else who was really, really, really sweet and nice was Henry Winkler. He's
see,
like
I
so
wished I
cool.
had met that guy because I heard
Oh my
nothing but
gosh.
good things about him.
Which I love Henry Winkler. You know, he's in these Happy Days. I was a huge Happy Days fan. I
Yeah.
collect Happy Days stuff. And he was also in one of my favorite movies of all time, which is Night Shift, which is totally the way he talks on there, he kind of talks like that in real life. And um another favorite of mine, my gosh, I'm going blank. But Adam Sandler, What Mama Don't Know Won't Hurt Her, Roy Orbison, what's
Oh, yeah.
Waterboy, duh.
Yeah.
Mama, I do that. I forget stuff. If you've not watched me on here long enough, you'll see that I forget things.
Well, I forgot Billy Crudup's full name, and I was just
Yeah,
like fishing around for it. Um, but I hate to break in here and say this, but me and Candice had talked about making this one a little bit
yeah.
shorter than normal. So Candice, I hate to ask you on here. I could edit it out, but I probably won't because this stuff is just free form.
Yeah,
But did you want to stay on here till 8:15, or would that be too late?
that'll be fine.
Okay.
That'll be
So
fine.
we'll probably cut it off at a quarter after. We'll talk about a couple more things or whatever, and then um, we we did. I know Candace and I talked about when we were messaging each other back and forth. We had talked about talking about our experiences at conventions in general in the past, and some highlights
Yeah,
of those things. And something I wanted to bring up, and then I'll let Candace talk about some highlights, is um, friends that I had met through the horror circles.
yeah,
That was a way to spend a little extra time with those friends because a lot
yeah,
of these friends were not from my hometown or anything. They were from all over,
yeah,
And so and Candace and I have talked about this too. It was a way for all of us. It was like the gang's back together again.
yeah,
Every time there was a convention, it was like, oh, I get to see so and so, or I get to, this person, that person. I ain't
Yeah.
seen them since the last convention
And that's
or
kinda how
whatever.
we're friends, because that's how we became friends was through the conventions, me and you and Abby, and, we're best friends, if it wasn't for that, we wouldn't have never met. We would, so we owe a lot to the convention circuit,
Mhm. And when I first met Candace, I was like, this girl is like almost like the other half of me. And I don't mean that in like a romantic
I
sense, I
felt the
mean that
same.
in a friend sense.
Yeah,
But
it's a kinship.
yeah, and it was just so easy to talk to
It
Candace.
was, yeah.
I
It
just
was.
slid right into it and
Yeah,
didn't feel nervous or
yeah.
anything.
Because I'm not somebody who makes friends very easily.
I
But when
don't.
I met Abby first, and I'll be honest with you, the way that I was back then, I was very off put by people, and I didn't want to like anybody. This is what mindset. I was really weird back then. But as soon as I met Abby, it was like, oh, she's like a soulmate or something like that. I
Yeah.
know that sounds weird. I know that sounds weird me saying that, but she was. And then I met Dana. I was like, whoa,
Mhm.
what's going on? She's like a soulmate. It's like, like a friend soulmate. I don't know how else to describe it. I had never done that before. I mean, it was like I'm so awkward. I used to be so awkward, but
I'm
with
very. I think I'm still socially
yeah.
awkward in certain
But with
circumstances.
Dana, and with Abby, it
Yeah.
wasn't like that. It was like it was meant to be. It was like these are my friends that are meant to be, you know. And here we are, what, 14 years later? So
Wow.
14 years, 14 years.
And some friends kind of drifted away and stuff like
Yeah.
that, but I just feel like the core group, Candace,
Yeah.
Abby, people like that I continue. Abby not so much, bless her heart, she's got a lot of things going on. She has a small child and
A small
everything, and
business.
small business, and those things take up a lot of time if you want a small business to be
Oh,
successful.
yeah.
So
And she's hot at it too. I'll just tell you that
yeah,
right now.
yeah,
She's
right.
a photographer, and she's really, 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 really good. Which I always knew that about her, but she never wanted to listen, but she did. So I'm glad, she kind of felt, somebody who helped bring that to light because he was a photographer too, her husband is, and that
Mhm.
kind of brought her out. And I'm so happy because, she makes really beautiful pictures,
Oh,
even
she's
of me. And I hate to say that she made some pictures. I'm like,
Candace.
oh my God. Like, I don't know how much you can do with that, but she did, and I liked them. They were really beautiful. So,
Candace, I'll tell you something. I don't know if I've told you this before, but my mom has talked about how pretty you are. She's seen pictures of us together,
well, I
and
appreciate that. I sure do.
she said, "Your friend Candace," she said, "she is so pretty." Yeah.
I do. I appreciate anybody who compliment me. I say thank you. I'm not big on compliments, and that's for sure, though. But it's just how I am, I guess.
And it's important to have, and I'm not saying that Candace and Chris are just convention buddies. You have those people that are just convention buddies. You
Yeah,
just see them at conventions and you don't
exactly.
talk any other time. But Candace and Chris are more than just convention buddies. They're lifelong friends.
Yeah.
They're the type of people that I will call my friend till the day I die and into the afterlife.
Well, like we said, me and Nana's family. It's no longer friends; it's family.
Right.
So we've established that a long time ago. So I mean, if she's not left me yet as a friend, then she's stuck right along with me. So
And if Candace hadn't thrown up her hands and walked away from me, then I don't think she's going to.
no, no. So
And Chris is the same way. Chris is like, I don't feel uncomfortable with him saying this either. Some people I would feel uncomfortable, but he said, "We love you, Dana." And I can't say it like Chris, but has that most sincere way about him. There's nothing, and him and Candace are both this way. There is nothing false about these people.
Yeah. Well, I try not to be.
Mm. Nothing false. You know how you can tell when somebody's it's phony sentiment?
Yeah.
Um, and Candace and Chris are never ever like that
Well, I hope I
because they're
never
not
come
those
off
kind of people.
that way.
No.
Oh,
But I did want to. Are there any, Candace? Are there any particular vendors specifically that you're looking forward to seeing
well, I mean,
or seeing their stuff?
there's always like the people that we know that I love seeing their stuff. Nathan Milliner, he's the artist there. Just a few other people like that too. A lot of artists, friends, and stuff. And but I tell you what, I really like seeing, and this is just me here. In my older years, I think because I've, my fashion sense has changed. I'm kind of t-shirts and
Hmm.
jogging pants or something like that. In the fall and stuff.
Right,
I've become more in tune to the vendors that sell these really unique shirts and hoodies and stuff like that. That's
right.
what I get excited about now. I know that's something, probably, I've I don't know, I just never paid attention to that kind of thing. Except T-shirt Joe, I always liked his stuff.
I did too.
Back then, but I never really paid much attention to anybody else's stuff. But as I'm getting older, I'm looking more into that kind of thing. I love T-shirts and stuff like that. And Chris bought me that really awesome Casper hoodie, zip up hoodie, and it
Hmm.
had um the Pizza Hut and the Pepsi logo on it, like from back
Right.
whenever they did those promotions, whenever the movie come out. So that's what I kind of look forward to now. And I love seeing the handmade stuff. I love seeing
Yeah.
what people's handmade and stuff because some of these people are just genius. I love Mass Fest. Is this Mass Fest?
I think there's going to be a mass fest.
Is it Mass Fest? I think Chris said it was. Let me go look.
I mean, I know it's Slasher Fest, but I thought there was Mask Fest too.
Oh, I love Mass Fest. I if I had the money, I would be because we love props
Hmm.
and they have some incredible mask and stuff that these I would love to get into mask making. That's something that I've really wanted to get into. So I'm gonna
Yeah.
go on here, Dana, because I can't remember if it's Mass Fest or not. What are you looking most for? Like when it comes to the vendors and stuff, what are you looking forward to?
Well, I like you said, I like unique T-shirts and stuff because a
Yeah.
lot of times at these conventions you can find T-shirts and hoodies and things like that you can't find anywhere else.
Yeah.
That you won't find anywhere else. And people are so creative, like Candace said, they come up with the most original, unique items
Yeah.
out there. Um, every once in a while, I'll like to look for a vinyl, um, and I was trying to say, oh, do you remember, Candace? I'm going to see if you remember this far back because it's been it's been a few
Okay.
years, but I think it was at a Horror Hound Weekend, and we were walking around together. I think the guys were off
Yeah.
doing something else, and we were walking around looking at the different vendors. Do you remember those wax dip teddy bears?
Yes, I do.
And I wanted one
Yeah.
so bad,
Yeah.
and I think they were like $50 or
Yeah.
something a piece, and I wanted to go back and get one, but Steve was being persnickety, and he said, you're not putting that in the living room." That was the first thing. We're not having that thing in the living room.
Yeah.
But the other thing I liked about them, other than they were horror related, is they were scented
Yeah.
like candles. They
Yeah.
were
I
scented.
remember that.
And I have never seen those vendors ever again.
That that was the first time. Was that at a it was at Scarefest, right?
I was
Or was
thinking
that
it was a horror hound, but maybe it was
it
Scarefest.
could have been Horror Hound Dana, but I remember that, and I think that's the only time I'd ever remember seeing them there too. So,
Mhm.
but I remember that. Yeah, that's been a long time ago. Probably what 12 years ago, 13 years ago.
At least, yeah.
but it is Mass Fest, and it's Mass Fest the 13th, and it is I forgot. It says here the world's premiere Monster Mass convention returns for its 13th. So it's actually the 13th show.
Wow. That's
13th
cool.
Mass Fest on Friday the 13th. I forgot that Horror Hound is during Friday the 13th. How
Yeah.
awesome is that? But Tom Savini, I forgot about him being there too.
Well, I've already met Tom Savini, so I
Oh
probably won't
yeah.
be going up to him again. But
Oh man, if I had the money, I love
I
Mass
love
Fest.
mass too.
I
I
love
love
it.
mass and props and all that
Mhm.
business.
And I kind of thought about meeting that Cole Sprouse.
Uh,
I don't know why I want to meet him. I'm not like, you know, I never watched like that Zach and Cody or whatever it was called, but I really like that Lisa Frankenstein.
yeah,
But I mean, I don't know why I want to meet him. I just been watching like stuff of him, like on as he's been like doing like promos and stuff. I just
right.
think he's funny. I really like him. But oh yeah, Chris told me that they added that Joey Lauren Adams
Yeah, yeah, she got added.
and
Mhm.
that Eddie Steeples. He's on. I named Missouri. I really like him. He's Darnell. Um, Dermot Mulroney. He was that the guy? No, there was somebody that was at Scarefest last year. And as we were walking, I tell you who it was. It was that guy that plays the dad on the very first season of American Horror Story. And he was walking towards us, and Raiden got in his way, and he was kind of rude. I,
I'd be like, who pissed in your cornflakes today, dude?
I've met Tom Atkins several times, but I don't think I've ever met Mitch Pileggi.
I always wanted to meet him, but I don't know if I'm gonna meet him this time because, like I said, I hate. I went up to Tom Atkins. Speaking of Tom Atkins, several years ago, and I just wanted to meet him. I didn't get anything signed or anything, and I felt really weird about it. So I said, I'm not going to do that anymore.
So you never met Tom Atkins?
Yeah, I met him, but
Oh, okay.
I didn't get
Oh,
an
didn't get an
autograph
autograph. Okay,
thing,
okay.
and I felt kind of weird about it. It was the only time I ever did that, and I'm like, I'm not doing that anymore.
Yeah. We've went up and met people. I like Mitch Pileggi though. I like him in Supernatural, and I like him in X Files and Shocker and
Shocker, yeah.
Jason Lively. I can't remember if I've met him or not. He's really nice though.
Hmm.
I like him in National Lampoon's European
Yeah,
Vacation.
I do too.
I love his role as
Rusty.
Rusty.
Hmm.
I thought he was a good Rusty. I mean,
Yeah, yeah,
the
he did a good job.
he did a good job. I like whenever he's in that it's not even a strip club. It's like a they're like dancing and stuff, and then
Is
uh
it just a nightclub or?
Mark and them go in there and they see him there back there. He's like some woman back there, he's drunk. Yeah,
uh,
I really like that. I like the uh but yeah, I there's a few people. I don't know who all Chris is planning on meeting. I kind of let him just do that. I've met Scott Ian before. He was nice.
mhm.
Um, but I don't know if we're going to be is that John Christ, is he going to be there signing, or is he just going to be there
I thought maybe he was just performing, but, I don't know
in
how
Erie
that
Vaughn?
goes.
Well, it says here they're there from the 13th to the 15th, so we might go up and meet them. They're from Danzig and Sam Hain, so
Yeah.
um, we may go meet them. But I'm excited, Dana. I'm looking forward to it. I'm like I said, most looking forward to seeing you all and getting to see you meet Robert Englund. But I'm
Is that
hoping,
gonna make your year, Candace,
yeah,
me meeting Robert English?
yeah. But I get nervous for you. No, I'm not nervous about meeting him or anything like that. I get like kind of just like what do you call it? Not nervous, but anxious. Like I'm ready to see what goes on. So, and I'm
I
excited.
know I know I can't just run up and hug him, but I would like, he's just somebody. Robert Englund is just so cuddly, if I can use that word. I know he played Freddy Krueger, but he also played,
Mhm.
Willie on V, and that was a lovable character. The the fifth floor where he was a mental patient in this
Yeah.
hospital. He was lovable and cuddly in that too.
He's a very nice person. I mean, every time like I said, every time I've interacted with him, he was very nice. So,
The Great Smoky Roadblock, that was another, as what was it, Bevo or Bebo? I don't know. But his character in that was lovable too. And he got to have a relationship with Susan Sarandon, very young
oh,
Susan Sarandon at that time.
I like
Um,
Susan Sarandon.
I do too. But I guess because we went over just a little bit, unless Candace or something else you want to bring up before we get off here, I don't want Chris to say, we got to go. He'll say, that dang Dana.
No, but just, again, sorry that we've not been doing things, here, like with the Friday Foolish and stuff like that. That's why we decided to go ahead and we kind of worked it in that way. It's just been incredibly insane, like
Yeah.
Dana, she's told you the truth. It's like been really busy for me and really busy for Dana. So doing what we can, I guess. Guess, but I'm glad that we got to get on here and talk for a little bit, even though it wasn't a big long show or anything like that. I'm glad to get to do it and talk a little bit about. And we may even, if Dana wants to, do a post show as well, maybe for. I
Yeah,
don't know
we
what you're
can show
planning
the
on.
stuff we got, talk about
Yeah.
the experiences. Now, you'll get a double dose of it because, like I said, me and Steve are going to do a
Mhm.
highway to hell that's going to be completely encompassing the whole experience. And then me and Candace can also, talk a little bit about our
Mhm.
experiences. I'll gush about Robert England again. And we'll talk about stuff we picked up, if we picked up anything from
I'm hoping
vendors
to
or
find
whatever.
something cool. That's what I just want to bring one thing home that I can say, look what I'm wearing on this cool shirt or something like that.
Right. But I do want to, before we do get off of here for the night, I do want to thank Candace for joining me for
Thank
this.
you.
Because, I've done these countdown to Horror Hound weekends, but it's just been me on here talking about just, guests and vendors and things and what to expect. I did one where I told you what to expect if you've, one, never been to a horror hound, two, you've never been to a horror convention or any convention at all. Things that you might want to take note of
Mhm.
before you actually go. Um, but I want to thank everybody also for all of you that watch this, and hopefully things will get back to a more
I
regularly scheduled programming. Hopefully, anyway. But it has been super busy for both of us,
yeah.
and thank you guys and gals for understanding and being patient with us while we work out everything. And you got to rest sometime too. That's what I was going to do a everybody wants England last night, and I got tired and fell asleep. I was like, well, not going to do a pre-recorded everybody wants England.
She tried. I can vouch for that. She tried, but it just didn't work out the way that she planned.
Just didn't work out. But anyway, we're going to call it a night before Chris comes busting in there and says, Candace, we gotta go. No,
Oh my goodness,
I
he was.
love Chris. He's not like that, but I'm sure he wants to get what he needs to get done before it gets too much later. But anyway, we are off like a dirty shirt. We're
Mhm.
not wearing dirty shirts, we're just off like a dirty shirt. And I want to remind everybody, as I always do, and a t-shirt is coming with this on it. I promise you guys and gals. I want to remind everybody, as I always do before we get off here, to be kind to one another and blaze that trail. Have a fantastic rest of your Wednesday. Let's get to Friday. If you're going to Horror Hound Weekend, I hope you have a fantastic time there.
Mhm.
If you're not going to Horror Hound Weekend, have a fantastic weekend anyway, and take some time out for yourself because that's always important. And we'll see everybody next time.
See you at the
Bye, everybody.
convention. Bye.